My Gavanen Melonin, and well met indeed. I am Arachir Garlagerthan, the head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer, and welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we continue on as the Adûnâim and our conquest of Linden. Now, fortunately, I've recorded this one after having seen the previous one go up, and I have some response to some comments to give, which is good. But a brief rundown of where we are at the moment, of course, is we were marching off to Mithlond, but then I thought, no, we want to try and nip some land from the Brelanders before Dunland arrives, because inevitably we will be going to war with Dunland. And we're just trying to get ourselves shipshape and ready for that. I'm expecting when I end the turn for Undertowers to rise up. I just wanted to address a couple of the comments. First of all, the Lothlorien campaign I hope to begin next week. The fourth video for this week, now that I'm hoping to return to 4 videos, will be a Soulstorm video. I've recorded that and it's ready to go. You're watching this after you've seen it, of course. So that was on Wednesday. I've recorded this on Monday. And so next week, there'll be the first episode of the Lothlorien campaign will begin. Now, but speaking of points related to... Just trip over my words some more. There are some bits and bobs about this one that I had forgotten, although I will end the turn, actually. Number one, what I'd completely forgotten is that Círdan actually has the locked trait in this version. He no longer does in version 2.2 that will be released very soon, but in 2.1, which you're all playing at the moment, or possibly even by 2.1 he might have been taken away, actually, because remember, this is pre-version 2, let alone 2.1. He actually is locked, so he can't move more than a tile at a time, which I completely forgot about, and means he will be easily killed and ignored if we take the city. So let's go for this. So that was the first point to note, and that was very useful to be told. I'd completely forgotten. I had completely forgotten. So Círdan is not actually going to be a problem for us at all. The second point is that, obviously, I keep toggling Fog of War and showing you various areas around the world and all the lands that other nations are claiming and taking. And some people have suggested in the comments, is there no way that I can console command the AI nations to attack each other? And unfortunately, no. I can't console command the nations to attack each other, but, full disclosure, what I actually did do, in the brief 20-turn gap where I wasn't fighting anyone, where I wasn't recording, sorry, when Rune actually died, I cheated myself over 500,000 gold coins, and I paid Dol Guldur 500,000 gold coins to go to war with the Misty Mountains. You'll note, however, that that was some 15 odd turns ago, and they are not at war with each other. And this is, unfortunately, again, where the developers of the original game have completely let everybody down. Because when you tell 2 AI nations to go to war, they don't actually have to go to war. All they have to do is commit in some way to applying pressure on the nation you've chosen. So it might mean that they move troops to the border, it might mean that they break a trade deal, something like that. It does not mean they have to go to war. So even though I paid them 500,000 gold coins, and trust me, this, other than with my Isengard alliance, this time I actually had to do it in increments. So initially I offered them 150,000, I thought that'd be more than enough, and they hated it. It was still horrible to... I had to go in at 500,000 before they agreed to attack the Misty Mountains. And then they didn't even attack them anyway. So that annoyed me a great deal. But the moral of that story is that even though those nations are large and now have no enemies, they will not go to war with each other, and there is nothing I can do. So the map, unfortunately, is going to be as it is, kind of finished, if you will, in terms of where all the alliances and everything are. And the only interesting changes now are going to come in our arena, where we try and claim Eriador, and then we turn on Isengard for the win. So you won't, unfortunately, see grand sweeping fights with the Misty Mountains attacking Dol Guldur, or Mordor and Isengard breaking alliances because of that and attacking each other. None of that is going to happen, I'm afraid. Oh, there's upgraded Breland Watchman Sword Guard there. They get chainmail instead of just tabards, I believe. They're moving in. Everyone stands ready. Oh, the bodyguard's over there. Where are the savages? Barely even human. Come over here. Excellent. And so then the final point refers to the channel as a whole, and with overwhelming support, people have requested that the lore videos change and become few or shorter and often. Is that what I mean? Yeah. So the lore videos will basically no longer be large, sweeping topics covered in an entire video, but will instead become much shorter, much manageable chunks, and will therefore be more common. Which I actually think we're kind of at a point where that's the natural progression now. I've covered most of the really big things, if you will, that happen in this time in the Lord of the Rings. And moving on from here, it is easier to cover smaller things, like, for example, profiles of individual people, like Elrond or Glorfindel. So you can actually find out exactly what they do, which I think would be quite interesting. For example, obviously I cover, an example of this is that in the video where I cover the 5 Istari wizards, or 5 Istar, they are the Istari when talking of them collectively, but when singularly naming them each, which saying 5 does, they become 5 Istar. Sorry, that's just a boring lesson on plurals. Anyway, so when I did the video covering the 5 Istar, or the Istari, I spoke about Radagast. But of course, in a video dedicated just to him, you could cover everything that he did, which unfortunately is still basically nothing. But it just allows you for more in-depth information. And I think that's also, I'm quite excited to do that, because it means I can return to topics I'm actually really quite interested in. Because I am interested in the entire Legendarium, I am. But given the fact that my favourite nation and my favourite aspect is Dol Amroth, and my favourite kind of race are the Númenóreans, obviously I naturally lean more toward the end of the Second and the Third Age. Because whilst I find Númenor very, very interesting, most of the Second Age, or certainly the mid to early Second Age, the Second Age is easily the one where the least happens in the world. So there's not all that much you can really talk about.
Only half the enemy force remains.
So the moral of the story is thus: Círdan is locked, and actually I've been worrying about him, and I have no need to. Number 2, I will do more lore videos, but they will be smaller and cover more in-depth, like niche, not niche, but in-depth, smaller topics. And number 3, I cannot get the AI to go to war with each other, even though I tried. Now, I said the word cheated, but I didn't cheat. It's just the only way to get the AI to do anything is to give them money and tell them to do it. So a lot of people ask if we're going to add the forced diplomacy submod to DaC. And interestingly, that is exactly how that works. When you toggle forced diplomacy, or when you are using forced diplomacy, the way that it actually makes the AI do what you want is it briefly, it's like so quickly that you don't even notice it, it gifts you 400,000 gold, or a number, let's go with the number 400,000, but it gifts you gold, for example 400,000, it then adds that to your offer, so the AI is then gifted the money, and then it, or does it do it that way? No, because that would have longer standing effects on the AI, you'd be giving 400,000 gold out everywhere. No, oh no, then I'm caught astray there. That isn't how it does it. But I know that it does add money to you, and then it immediately removes the money after the forced diplomacy option. But I can't remember what it actually does. I can't remember how it takes the adding of the money and turns that into them doing what you want. Because forced diplomacy isn't a mod that literally just toggles an option, and so then the AI will do whatever you say. That's not how it works. It actually revolves around all sorts of things with your money and how that interacts with the AI, and it does it that way. But otherwise I've given you bad information there. I've not given really any information there. We are overseeing the fall of Bree here, I believe. If Dunland can take Mitchell Delving in this turn, then they are to be no more. Oh, those look like they want to break, but they just haven't broken yet. Come on, your leader's dead, your army's dead, you're the only ones left alive. Break and end this. They're still firing though. I don't get how the AI is able to do that, and we as human players are not able to do that. They can have their units continuously fire even when they are no longer in... even when they are now in melee. Red tide of the Azra Zaire burns upon the foes of Bree.
Smash the enemy. Our men have taken control of the city.
Down they go. Oh, that hobbit just took a knock to the face.
Enemy army fleet. This is a clear victory.
Argimel Zor the Chivalrous takes only 346. 900 enemy dead. And he claims, by 1 kill, he claims the top spot. Well done, sir. Adrian von Ziegler's music chirping and chipping away. I have a little tidbit for you. I have finally made the jump to 2 computer monitors. Which leads me also on to a point where, obviously, in my videos now are being recorded in 1440p because my monitor's now in 1440p, which is I could have recorded in this quality a long time ago. But anyway, ignoring that, in one of the videos where I then say, oh, the video quality is now improved because I've changed my monitor, and I obviously realised that my computer could do much more than I was actually doing with it. And someone took it upon themselves to ask, oh man, you're only just going to 1440p? I've been on 21 something for the past, 3 years? And I was like, what purpose does this comment serve? Other than for you to just slap your tackle out on the table and say, look everyone, I've got a bigger gaming insert word here. And I just don't get that form of like self... what's the word? What is the word I'm after? No, it's completely gone. Obviously, self-deprecating humour or self-deprecation is when you actively talk down about yourself. But the opposite is something that I don't know. When you just big yourself up all the time. Now, colloquially, of course, we say blowing your own trumpet. But I don't know what the actual word is. Self-complimenting, is that a word? That doesn't sound like a word.
This tower will
Anywho, so a random person on the internet somewhere has a better computer setup than me. And he felt the need to tell the world that. So I thought I'd just relay that one back, because those comments I find so fascinating and so baffling. And I just want to draw them out. I didn't take offence, I wasn't annoyed. I just don't understand what he was hoping to achieve with that comment. Me to be like, oh, cool, will you invite me around sometime so I can see it? Like, what's the end game here, friends? Anyway, I'm being rude, really. Lord Balakan, you're going to have too many troops, I think. There's 4 coming from there and 4 coming from there, and you can only take 4. So we would quite like archers, but otherwise we're taking all 4 of those over the 2 raiders. So move the raiders to the side. I'm thinking they're possibly getting rid of the savages. They're good because they're but they are very aggressive, aren't they? Oh, they're not actually that much worse, if at all worse, than the warriors. They don't have a shield though. We'll take 1 of each. We've got a little supporting army there as well. Perfect. Bree are not dead. Mitchell Delving still lives.
Yes, my lord.
Right, get back into the town. Oh, I thought this one can upgrade. I thought it only couldn't go up to a city, but it can't upgrade. We need to allow it to. Oh, well, that's frustrating. I mean, it's still very wealthy, but it's not the same as the Hobbit regions. Oh well. Population growth is coming down, even on low tax rate. On very high tax rate, it's coming down substantially. I want to move an army. Well, your army down here, sir, you're going to be used to take Mitchell Delving if Dundon don't beat us to it. And you guys actually can move up and join the Undertowers army, and then we've got quite a nice little setup there. Otherwise, I think it's another end turn. Everywhere building things, because we've got the money to do it. Oh, that's not worth it at all. All we get from there is Saraline mercenaries. Unfortunately, we're not in a place yet where we can get proper mercs. We need to take Bree to get proper mercs. I could get farming up there. Harlond. Oh, Harlond, actually. I don't think I need King's Men, but you're a... Yeah, get your guild house. Let's get some cheaper buildings up there. Right, end the turn. Let's see what Linden do. Linden! The only other point as well, which is just a minor one, not the only other point, I say that too much. Another point to bring up and mention, or to make note of, to draw attention to, is in the Dol Amroth overview video, I explained how I consider the top 3 cavalry to be the Locinus Rim, the Royal Guard of Arthedain, and the Knights of the Silver Swan. And I was explaining how people always bang on about how the Imladris Riders are much, much better. But then, quite accurately, in the comments section of said video, many people pointed out that the Imladris Riders were actually removed from the game. And it is in fact the Elder Rinway Lancers that people believe are very powerful. So I got that wrong. Oh, the Realm of Imladris quite like me. Linden has disappeared. Where are they gone then?
Yes, your will, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Right, Lord Balakan.
We combine
Oh, you're
our
only through
forces
2 turns away. That's not bad.
to battle, my lord.
You guys can get to Undertowers
As
in
you
time.
wish. We can go no further today.
I'm disappointed that can't upgrade. I'm certain that it could. Even the description even tells you that it cannot upgrade to a city, but that's all. So you should be able to go to a town and a large town. I have to look into that. I should write that down. We'll end turn for a couple of turns while our army moves up to Mitchell Delving. And while the end turn is ticking away, I can open my notebook and write in Undertowers. What's happening? Why's the camera moved? Oh. Undertowers cannot upgrade. New Lorien unit. Name. Was there anything else I was going to do? Remove guilds. Yep. I can do that. Version 2.2, by the way, is now really very, very close. So we should be. We were hoping for early April, but I think we're probably still going to make April. April? That's not. That's not how you say that. I think we should still be all right to make April. Don't quote me on that though. But that's the hope. We're not trying to be coy about the delivery of this one. No one knows. It's no surprise to anyone. We've been banging on that we're going to be releasing it. So at the moment, we've still got a few bits and pieces to add in, but we're hoping to have everything kind of built around toward the end of April and have it out then. And then that will be the last release for a considerable amount of time. And this 2.2 is just a refinement. So we're just kind of working out any remaining little kinks from 2.1, adding in any other nice little bits of polish that we can add in. Let's just continue to build an army while we can, actually. And then, as I say, then we'll hopefully get that out by the end of April. I say we. I have not done any modding, as I have said in a few videos now.
By your command.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, Dundon won't be happy with me marching through their lands. I wonder what Dundon will do when Bree dies, which hopefully is now turns away. A couple of turns away, if that. But of course, Dunland then run out of enemies. They could turn on the Northern Adûnâim, but they might be allied to the Northern Adûnâim if memory serves. We'll see. They might join us in our fight against Ered Luin, actually. Let's have a look at who they're allied with, shall we?
As you command,
We've arrived.
Prevail.
War declared. Dwarves of Erebor and the Shadow of Mirkwood. Dunland like me. I didn't get that mission in. Right, Dunland. We're not actually allied, are we, Dunland? No, we're not. Oh dear, they might attack me. Strong possibility they'll attack me when Bree die. Their only other enemies are Khazad-dûm. Oh dear. I thought I'd allied with Dunland. I've been happily ticking along this whole time thinking we're absolutely safe. No one's going to get us. Only to learn that actually we aren't allied to them. Unfortunately, the control or the select all on my mouse now moves me slightly to the left because it's pressing the A key. Never used to do that. It's very annoying. Anyway, stop dilly-dallying. Leave that lot behind.
We shall engage.
The rest of you move over to support. Arnuzir.
Approaching.
Ah, no. Bree still have Hobbiton. Oh, well.
Your orders, my lord. Yes, my lord.
You go up there then. Another end turn. Oh, Undertowers. Of course, I gave it a very high tax rate, didn't I? Gotta turn that down. Idiot. That Linden army has returned to Mythlond. And given now that we know that Círdan is trapped at Mithlond and he won't move, we can probably quite easily sail over the river and take Forlond now while the enemy is doing nothing.
My lord. Yes. March to exhaustion, continuing later.
Oh, they really don't like anything but low. They'll like us a bit more when that rest of that
Your
army
orders,
moves in.
my lord.
We shall engage. We shall prevail. Yes.
Pikeman and Rob the Honourable.
Yes, my lord.
Might as well go straight to it.
As you command.
Battle!
Muster your courage, men. We march into battle.
I want to try and secure. Now this actually takes us closer to Bree, and this might not Bree, Ered and this might have been a very bad tactical decision. But what does it matter? Welcome to Hobbiton. I've been to the set of Hobbiton in the town of Matamata, or just outside the town of Matamata in New Zealand on the Northern Island, and it's pretty cool. And the map actually is fairly true to the actual set of Hobbiton, because there's not much there. Obviously they use trickery and camera work to make it look bigger than it is, and of course they use a lot of CGI, but the map is relatively true to it. Right, do we want to come from the right or do we want to come from the left? There's this hill at the back here where we always go. Outside Sam Gamgee's house is the town square, if you're interested. On Bagshot Row is the name of the road that runs in front of Hobbiton, Bag End. Right, let's go over on the right hand side. We're not really worried about losing this. In fact, we'll really struggle to lose this. But we'll try and kill the pikemen with arrow fire. Up we go. What is... Oh, those are the contours. Ah, beyond the edges of the map, though, it's just a flat, grassy plain. Well, up we go. Corsair archers. Oh, you can't even shoot there. God, you have a terrible range.
We are the elite.
Run away, run away, run away, run away. Keep bringing them down. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. More, more, more. Run away. Run away.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy. The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Catch them off guard. Yes, perfect flanking maneuver. Oh, you've run out of arrows. Almost all of you have run out of arrows. How many have we lost? Hardly any. How many have they lost? Almost all of them. Good God. So it turns out their high attack and effective against armour is no match for their low defence and just the general high attack of the Adûnâim armsmen. Because they're getting really slaughtered out there, aren't they? The savages are taking them out. Oh, there's the general. He should go down any time. Move up here and start harassing those farmhand pikemen. Come on, get at least one kill. Do what you are actually designed to do at least once. Oh God, you're bad. They dead yet?
The enemy general.
They are.
Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
Gimmelzor. end this. Now, we will not be terrible rulers of the Shire. We hold no grudges against the diminutive folk.
The battle is very much in our
We don't
favour.
look down
Victory
on
will
the
be ours.
Shirelings. And certainly the Númenóreans may look down on those who aren't Númenórean, and that's inherent. But beyond the inherent superiority of our blood, we don't discriminate in our discrimination. Everyone is lesser than the Númenóreans. There aren't degrees of lesser. The Shirelings are the same to us as an orc, or a normal human,
Awed by
or
the
an elf or a
victory we have
dwarf.
won here today.
They're all worse than us, objectively so. But we don't necessarily extra discriminate against them, and we shall rule with a fair and just hand. The hobbits have nothing to fear. And as with any colonial power, we will just do what we can to try and educate them that the complete and utter annihilation of about 50% of their population was in their best interests. And certainly nothing we could have stopped. We brought light, enlightenment, technology, advancement, skill, opportunity, and wealth to a region of otherwise backward barbarians. And I think we should be praised for our
Honourable,
achievements.
glorious victory. A most noble conquest.
Now this place can't upgrade either, so kill them all. But we can train Breland militia, archer militia, merchant cavalry, hobbitry and arms, lumbermen and woodland hunters from Hobbiton. Yes, please. It just won't like us very much. Although actually, because that's bugged in the way that the negative effects work, it actually won't make very much difference at all. Oh, the men of Ruadar have been trained here. We can't use that building. With the fall of Hobbiton,
Your orders,
Bree's
my
days
lord.
really are numbered.
Yes, your orders, my lord.
Let's go up and
Making
get
camp here.
sight of our borders. We want to ideally not suffer many losses in that. That's going to be a hell of a fight, isn't it? That is going to be a horrible fight. But we're not ready yet to take on Ered Luin. We need Mithlond and Forlond. So what we can do, that army that I was preparing down here, are we making an... Oh, we're not going to make an... That, when that army trains, we are going to be seriously in debt. Let's turn everyone back to not forming up on the bridge. So just sit in your town for now.
My lord, by your command.
Oh, it might not be too bad. We've got a significant army standing in the wings here. Right, we'll give it another end turn, I think. But if Mitchell Delving rises up and attacks us, I won't fight that. That will be the next episode. If they don't, however, then I will do some little admin bits, and then this turn will be the last turn for this episode. Interesting that Erebor and Dol Guldur weren't already at war. That is very interesting to me. Oh, a Fighters Guild in Hobbiton. What? Why do we get it in Hobbiton of all places? That's alright, we're going to have quite this sizable training contingent from Hobbiton
Yes,
soon.
my lord.
With
Bree is
honour,
sending a diplomat
this
off. Captain
tower will
Woody.
keep vigil over the lands.
They've sent him, they've
Your
said,
orders,
Woody,
my lord.
get to the
This
dwarves.
tower will keep vigil
Tell
over
them.
the
Oh
lands.
no. They're coming
Making
already,
camp
aren't
here.
they? That army standing there on the border, that's for us, isn't it? Gimeltor,
Yes,
get the
my lord.
hell out of
Your
there.
orders, my lord.
I will definitely take some savages off your hands.
As you
And you
wish.
can take
Yes, my
Gimeltor.
lord.
Our
Assembling
two
a
greatest. Oh dear, if that
mighty
army
host.
dies, we lose our faction leader and the heir. Who do we think is going to be the heir after the heir actually dies? Well, the heir currently is Balakan. Why is he the heir? That makes no sense. Oh, it goes to the person with the highest authority. Look at that. A sad reminder that we've wiped out the entirety of Gimmelthon's arm of the family. Even those that married into it have died. Oh dear. So the heir is going to be one of these living persons. It's just whoever has the highest authority will be the heir. I wonder what the rings... Why he has rings and he has stars. Ah, the rings are for those that have married into the family. No, he has rings as well rather than stars. They didn't know obedience. Oh, maybe he has no stars, that it actually shows their obedience rather than their command, because their command is so poor.
Yes.
We could do with some sight range up here, actually.
Your orders, my lord.
Can the dwarves make it in one turn?
Take the
Yes, they
healer.
can.
I'm on duty.
Do we have a diplomat? No.
My lord.
Right, we don't need you there.
My lord.
This land just belongs to Dunland. I'm not concerned about that. Go up there and
Approaching
act as the watchtower for now.
quietly.
Oh, that's held by Adûnâim as well. You're over there, and then there's a third. Where did I see that? Forlinden,
My lord.
of course. Yeah, you might as well stay over there. Make sure that Forlinden's not training anything and sending it over. Oh, go on then, you can get that. It has some income. Oh, you can get great roads in Harlond. Capital remains Siduri at the moment, though. Temptation to move it to Cor Willishar is great, given that will be far more central if we sweep round. But then that would involve attacking Dunland, and Isengard would join with them. Also, given that we've just seen Adûnâim coming, I don't think we can afford to just sit in our castle and do nothing.
Got a plan in mind.
Oh, but look at the troops you can train. Yeah, we can afford it. Give me another army. Have you got the highest blacksmith that you can get at the moment? Steelmongers. What's the next tier after that? Oh, blacksmith. No, you're a 10. You're not big enough. Oh, and it's ages before you upgrade. Undertowers, how many people did you have? 2,865. Let's move some of those. Add population. Undertowers. Minus 1,865. Add population. Not negative. Oh, God. So, what we have done, in a nutshell, is we have raided the Shire, killed their warriors while they're defending their own land, destroyed and burnt their buildings, sold off anyone that we can to slavery, or the closest thing that Tolkien's world has, which I believe is actually slavery. Then we've disappeared into the ether. Then a few seasons later, we've come back. We've captured their most iconic town, although to the hobbits, actually, Mitchell Delving is probably more iconic. Hobbiton doesn't mean anything. And even when Frodo throws the ring into Mount Doom, he's still not revered in the Shire. They don't even know what he has done. He is an absolute nobody when he comes back, and they just think he's weird with all this Gondorian and all of this kind of weird regalia and all these artifacts he's got. So for the hobbits, Mitchell Delving really is the town. Hobbiton is just a tiny little village off in the north somewhere. They're not interested in that. But anyway, we've taken one of their towns and we've sold it to the orcs, who then move in and hold it for quite some years, extorting the population and just generally being bad folk. And then, if that's not bad enough, then their sworn enemy, the Dunlendings, finally come and actually invade and claim the Shire. Again, more of their folk fall to wars with us. These random people who have sailed out of nowhere, they wouldn't have even known we've sailed here. Just humans who have come from the south, bearing black and red armour and appearing as death on the horizon.
My lord.
We've arrived out of nowhere and we've attacked and sacked the place.
Your will, my lord. By
Killed
your
even
command.
more people.
We can go no further today.
And then finally, when all hope seems lost and they're holding out a Mitchell Delving and they're keeping the Dunlendings back, we are suddenly arrived for a third time to capture two of their towns within 2 seasons of one another, and then besiege their city with the largest army they have ever seen. So, but then the final little piece in the puzzle, we then actively displace 1,865 of their peoples, and we move them to a town that they would never even heard of, on a river they didn't even know, they think of as only a myth. It's practically so far from their borders. The Shire folk wouldn't know what is beyond this river here, the Barandúin, the Brandywine, which unfortunately is denoted by just a normal river, but the Sarn Ford is about as far as they ever go. So Argond it might as well be Harad, it's so far away for the Shire. And the Gwatlow, as I say, to them is probably just and barely anyone will even know that the Grey Flood is even a thing. You know, it's that kind of thing for the hobbits. And we've moved them there. Anywho, I've rattled on there at the end about absolutely nothing and not really actually done anything.
Representative this week.
But what I am going to do is move 2 of these over to our Menelaus, because it can have 2 garrison units. Oh, of course, idiot. Those units don't get free upkeep in there, and they just cost us money.
Your will, my lord. My lord.
But then 2 of them is about as much as one of them. You could have 2 of them free, you'd be earning 300 more. Yeah, no, that's Just a silly idea. Just get rid of them.
My lord.
I'll send those back.
Your will, my lord.
Ah, Cor Willishar. That's where the army is going to assemble, actually. I've just realised that Cor Willishar does have the highest level blacksmith. They've all got smithing and melee weapon bonuses. Where did they get the melee weapon bonus? Ah, from the Dark Temple, of course. And they have got the highest level armourer. Right, yes. The army assembles on the northern border. You can have 3 free upkeep. And I'd rather have a general in Argond than in Cor Willishar, if I'm honest. So
Your will, my lord.
keep the raiders.
Orders. Yes. Your will, my lord.
Everyone else heads to Willishar.
We'll make camp here.
Then your garrison can be that. 2 units of raiders and a unit of archers. Alright, so I'm going to end the episode there, I believe. Yeah, I will end the episode there. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you have. Next episode, of course, we will fight and kill Bree, finally. We'll take Mitchell Delving, their final province, and we will see if Adûnâim are finally going to get involved. But we have pretty much got Linden done, because Círdan can't move, and they don't make enough money to support any more armies anymore. But what I will try and do is nip over and take Forlond, but if Adûnâim do attack us, Forlond borders 2 of their biggest provinces, and it will create real problems for us. But of course, the dwarves don't get ships. They get mercenary ships, but the AI doesn't really use mercenary ships. So once Linden goes, we have total naval authority, which is good to note.
Ships ready.
The army that we're assembling up in Cor Willishar, actually, if Adûnâim don't attack us, I will sail that army up to Linden and we'll take Forlond. But we shall see. But for now, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you have, and until we speak again, dear friends, Navarna den Perimad Melunin, and farewell.